Welcome to the Library Show. It's June. And to quote Rogers and Hammerstein, June is busting out all over. All kinds of programs are happening. Some of them are indoors, some of them are outdoors, some for kids, some for adults. We have with us Andy Pelberg, who's going to talk about some terrific programs at Ludington Library in Bryn Mawr. Andrew, welcome again to the Library Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, last time you were on, I think we talked about the movie club that you have, or kind of film, your own mini film institute. That's not happening in June, though, I gather.
It's not. We will be picking back up in July. It takes place the last Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock live on Zoom. It's a great time for people just to check in after dinner and discuss the movie after they've seen it sometime in that month. In July, we'll be talking about Star Trek: The Motion Picture from 1979.
That is a real classic. I can just picture parents who saw it that way back then and saying, oh, I'd like to take my kids to see this and do it as part of a communal event, which I think has a lot of value. So everybody, put it on your calendar, July coming up. But June is happening too.
Yes.
I am somebody who has in the past participated in the Adult Summer Reading Club, and I thought it was terrific, and I gather that's coming back.
It is. It begins June 17th and goes through August 12th. Everything in order to register is going to be online and can be found on our website. And it's a great opportunity to track your reading, track your books, share your own reviews, and also win some great prizes.
Oh, that sounds terrific. It sounds, I like the competitive aspect of reading. I love reading to begin with, but the idea that you're competing and you're writing summaries of books you've read and you're recommending them to your peers is really very cool. So I'm a big fan of that. And I look back fondly on some books that I've read. I haven't ever won, I haven't maxed out, but it is a fun thing to do. So for all of you adults out there, you don't just have to bring your children or grandchildren. You can come yourselves and sign up. And by the way, when I say come, I'm thinking of the last time I did this, which was in person, but now I gather it can all be done online.
Yes, we're trying to make it more convenient and more accessible. So there's no risk of losing that piece of paper.
Oh, yeah.
And everything can be visible and accessed from tablets, smartphone, on vacation, at home, etc.
Oh, that's brilliant. So you go off in the summer for vacation, you can still tap away and put in the fact that you're doing book summer reading for the low-ranking libraries. Okay. And this goes from library to library. You're not restricted to doing this at Ludington or at Ardmore or any one
Oh,
library.
absolutely. You can anywhere.
Okay. It's always good to know. Sometimes you find books at different libraries than your regular one. And since we're talking about books, you have some traveling folks who are coming to talk about books, you said.
We are. Later this summer, we will have Philadelphia's Traveling Treasures visit us. And what that does is they explore the history of books, and a lot of they will be bringing with them some artifacts that can all be touched and felt and talked about during this presentation.
So when you say artifacts in this context, does this mean these are old books that are kind of fragile and they're careful about, obviously they're careful about them?
Yeah, some will be, I'm not exactly sure what's included in the exhibit, but I believe it will have some rare books, some tapestries, some other things that aren't too fragile, because touching and feeling is part of the presentation.
Right. I had the great good fortune some years ago of going to the University of Pennsylvania's Rare Books Library down at 5th and Walnut. And it was so interesting because you had to go into a kind of vacuum area, not a vacuum, that's not the right word, but a sort of isolated area before you went in. And the people who touched books had to put cotton gloves on because they didn't want the oils in your fingertips to touch them. So I imagine these folks, if they're bringing rare books for people to fully experience, that too might be a tactile experience, but through gloves. But I won't imagine. We'll see. We'll see publicity on this from Ludington's webpage?
Yeah, yes, as we get closer.
Okay. And these folks go all over the region? Is that, you said the Philadelphia traveling troops, so I thought that must include the whole Delaware Valley?
Yes, they reach out to schools, educational institutions, libraries, and they bring with them their treasures.
Okay, and I'm assuming this is the kind of thing that could be adults only, or people could bring their children if they choose to.
This is all ages.
Okay, well, I always like things that are family events because the library has so many different programs. It's nice to have something that brings people together rather than separating them into age groups. Andrew, are you continuing with board games over the summer?
Oh yeah, we always have our rotating board game collection here, and then Ardmore has a board game grown up get together where they can competitively play and explore new games.
Wow, I just had an evening with my son and grandsons, and we played Jenga for a very
Oh,
hair-raising hour. It was very exciting. So it's not exactly a board game, but it's a game in a box, and it is just for any age. It's a marvelous thing because you're all trying to do this, and it was really fun to do.
it's great for stress management.
That's a good thing to keep in mind. I thought actually I like the fact that you could start it and end it within an hour, unlike Monopoly, where the last
Yeah.
time we had Monopoly in my house, my granddaughter had it spread on the dining room table and it stayed there for weeks because the game can go on for so long. So I'm kind of a fan of board games that take a little, pardon me, but a little less time. And I guess you have both kinds. I mean, you can't do Monopoly in one evening, can you?
Correct. And we do have, and the great thing about games today are on the back, it gives a really concise description of the age group and the length of time that is estimated to start and complete the game.
Oh, that's something new. That's a great idea. So you know if this is long.
So we have games that can go from 45 minutes to 3 hours.
Ah, okay, that's pretty good. 3 hours is 2 sessions, but I get that. That makes sense. Can I come back? Does the summer reading list have a theme? I mean, I know for kids it's always a theme, but for adults,
Yes,
any theme?
same theme, togetherness.
Oh,
So it's really, we're interpreting that as community and essentially reading together, and a way of the library just being more involved in the community and the environment around us.
oh, so it's environmentally connected.
Well, I think everything's interconnected, so I interpret it
Okay.
as encompassing everything.
Okay, and for parents and children and for everybody to read and enjoy and whatever. Is there, let's see, how can I put this? Is there any one or two books that sort of symbolize the notion of togetherness?
I would have to go with Lord of the Rings on that, because everyone's working together to solve a common evil.
Okay. All right, I will defer to you on that. I have to admit that that is one book or series of books that I have not read. Notwithstanding the number of books that I have read, there is one that I haven't read. I know about it. I know about the movie, but I have not read it. So for anybody who hasn't and wants to try, this summer is a good time because you will be in keeping with the theme of this thing of togetherness. When do these programs end? Is there an end date before school, before Labor Day?
August 12th.
August
So,
12th. Okay.
so after that date, grand prizes will be pulled, and yeah.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
But
And is
August
August
12th.
12th the end for kids as well as adults?
Yes, it's across the board, the same, June 17th to August 12th.
Okay. And finally, let me just ask you, is that true in libraries across the country? Is there any kind of desire to synchronize in different library systems so that everyone's doing the same thing at the same time?
Yes,
So it's not just Lower Merion, for example, that's doing togetherness. Others are doing that
yes,
as well. Okay. For those people who might have family far away, they could say, oh, I'm reading on this theme, and everybody's reading the same theme. Okay,
yes.
that is good to know.
The only difference is how they log in and manage their reading for the summer.
How the libraries manage it, not how the
Correct.
individuals do. Okay, we have our choice. Anything else exciting at Ludington before we say goodbye?
We always have chair yoga available on Wednesday mornings virtually, and then in person here at Ludington in our large meeting room the first and third Friday of the month at 9:30.
Okay, I actually saw pictures of people doing chair yoga on the Ludington newsletter. It was very cool. I'd actually not realized that people get out of the chair and get on the floor also. So be aware that that's a real, it's a simulation of what's real yoga, and it is real yoga. They're doing real yoga. It's just a different kind. It's not
It's
yoga. It's not.
It's a great way to manage breathing and stretching.
Okay, that sounds really great. Well, it sounds like a wonderful summer coming up at Ludington. Andrew, thank you for all the really wonderful special programs that you do. It's always a pleasure to have you on the library show to talk about them. Appreciate it. And for you all out there, please mark your calendars for June, July. Get ready to do some terrific reading. I think this will be another wonderful summer for adult reading. I'm a little precious because I like that program and I participated in it. But have a good month.